to Long Beach by the Sea, home of the Queen Mary. This year, the course, which twists and turns its way through the city streets and through 2 tunnels, just like Monaco, has been shortened to just over 2 miles of concentrated action. Today, the sun is shining and there's an air of expectation that the new car specifications, which was such a success in Brazil, will result in an even better race here. But over the Long Beach Grand Prix, one of the most popular in the calendar, there hangs a cloud, with the news that this, the 8th in the series, may well be the last for financial reasons. Nelson Piquet's relaxed win at Brazil sees him leading the championship table, followed by Keke Rosberg, Niki Lauda, Jacques Laffite, Patrick Tambay and Marc Surer. But Rosberg's vital 6 points depend on a successful appeal against his exclusion from the Brazil results for a technical infringement of the regulations. Keke Rosberg, the reigning world champion, had a refuelling stop for the first time at Brazil, not a total success, for he nearly went up in flames. The Williams team efficiently put the fire out, but Rosberg lost over a minute. And with Rosberg back in the car, it was push-started, unseen by TV viewers, and there's controversy about whether that broke the rules. So, ready for the 75-lap race and in pole position for the first time, Patrick Tambay in his Ferrari. And second fastest on the grid, it's René Arnoux, Tambay's Ferrari teammate, driving for a Ferrari for the first year. And a superb third, Keke Rosberg. Fourth, Rosberg's Williams teammate, Jacques Laffite.
On the second row, the Saudi Williams cars.
And fifth fastest, it's Italian Elio De Angelis in the turbocharged JPS Renault 93. And a fine sixth, Britain's Derek Warwick in his turbocharged Tolman. There's a check on the grid with Nigel Mansell 13th, John Watson a lowly 22nd and Alan Jones 12th. Yes, Alan Jones is back to drive an Arrows after a year of retirement. Back to the scene of his win in 1981, Long Beach, a circuit he really likes. That's it, there's the checkered flag, and the 1981 US Grand Prix West at Long Beach has been won by Alan Jones in the new Saudi Leyland Williams. And that's Alan Jones in 1981, and there is Alan Jones in 1983 in the Arrows driving seat at Long Beach. So now all set for 75 laps around this very demanding circuit. The red light is on, it's green and it's go. And Rosberg comes through from the second row and he hits Arnoux. He goes up into the lead with Patrick Tambay as they go down to the first right-hander, turn 1. And it's now Tambay in the lead, Rosberg in second place, Jacques Laffite is third, René Arnoux is in fourth place, Michele Alboreto is fifth, and Danny Sullivan, the American, in the Tyrrell in sixth position.
Yes, and here we see the start again. You see Rosberg gets the drop on all the turbocharged cars, not having a throttle lag, gets a bit of wheel spin, a bit out of shape, diving for the gap, and he gave quite a thump to René Arnoux' Ferrari there, but he made it through and neither car appears to be damaged, so that's lucky for Rosberg. And here they are streaming around the first lap with Tambay just in the lead, Rosberg climbing all over the back of him, looking for a way through. Oh, and Rosberg loses it.
And Rosberg is losing his second place to Jacques Laffite, and René Arnoux is right up there in the Ferrari. So it's Jacques Laffite in the Williams in second place. Down to third position goes Rosberg. In fourth place it's Arnoux. Patrick Tambay leads, and it's Ferrari's first and fourth.
And there you see Rosberg. He locked his rear wheels then coming into the corner. That gave him no grip at the back, and it was an amazingly lucky spin because he happened to spin round into the right direction and got away. He hardly lost a place, which was quite amazing.
And that's given Patrick Tambay a chance, of course, because the Frenchman can now settle down to consolidate his lead.
Yes, he's got a little bit of space. Alboreto has got past Arnoux there into fourth place. You see Alboreto in the green Tyrrell coming round now. But it's very interesting looking at Keke Rosberg because his drive in Brazil, of course, was quite outstanding and certainly whatever the technicalities and legalities, this business of disqualifying him is quite ridiculous. It's like Rosberg has got round the outside of Jacques Lafitte there.
Yeah, Rosberg up into second place, Lafitte down to third. The Williams cars therefore are still in second and third places, and here it is again. Watch Rosberg pass Lafitte.
Yes, just cruising around the outside of him, and Rosberg's really charging. Now, it's very interesting to me to see Rosberg's driving and see how his season goes this year. He's world champion, and traditionally first-time winners of the world championship have come back the next season driving even better than the season in which they won it, with a new sort of flair and aggression. Alan Jones was very much the same. I felt I was the same when I had mine at the time, and Rosberg is driving really spectacularly this year. However, there is one problem that seems to be, and that is the danger of overconfidence. I've been guilty of it. Alan Jones made one or two errors that he might have regretted with all that attacking driving, and Rosberg has already done two risky things in this race. He's been very lucky,
and out goes Derek Warwick. That's the British driver who was sixth fastest in practice, and it looks as though his turbo's on fire because Derek Warwick, is using the fire extinguisher.
So whatever happens, I think Rosberg is going to entertain us this year, but he's going to have to subdue that overconfidence just a little bit if he's going to cut out little mistakes.
And that is Alain Prost. It looks as though the Renaults are having trouble in 83 as they did in 82. Alain Prost is now in the pits. He was in 12th position. He's in the new Renault 40 for the first time. And look how Keke Rosberg has closed the gap between himself and Patrick Tambay. Jacques Lafitte in the second of the Williams cars is dropping back a bit. It's Alboreto fourth, Patrese in the Brabham BMW fifth, and then Jean-Pierre Jarier, the Frenchman, the Ligier, in sixth position as they round the turn.
Yes, and Tambay's driving very intelligently and maturely, and Rosberg's having a go round the outside, but he doesn't quite do it. Tambay just managed to keep the inside line, but he's driving very maturely and steadily. Rosberg's obviously a bit quicker than him, but he's got the old problem of trying to pass the turbocharged car with its additional power. There you see it stretching its lead down the straight with all those extra horsepower over the Ford-powered cars, Rosberg and Lafitte having a little look down the inside of Rosberg.
Yes, and Patrese has come up into fifth position. So what has happened to René Arnoux in the second of the two Ferraris as we look at Keke Rosberg and Jacques Lafitte in second and third places? Now there's a point of technical interest here because the Ferrari has got well over 600 brake horsepower from its turbocharged engine, whereas Keke Rosberg and Lafitte and Alboreto, who are driving Ford Cosworth powered cars, have a maximum of 520 if they're lucky. And even though turbocharged jet lag is a bit of a problem here, turbo lag is a bit of a problem here, it means to say that Keke Rosberg has got all his time cut out. And there is Lafitte third, Alboreto fourth, Patrese in fifth position, and in sixth position Jean-Pierre Jarier going past the stricken Derek Warwick's Tolman.
Yes, Jarier has really come flying up through the field, and it's good to see him doing well. His talent has never been in doubt. His mental approach has been in the past, but this season I think he's imbued with a new determination, and he's got a good car again, and it'd be nice to see a talented Frenchman get some success at last. And there he was, making up a place there, coming down the inside, just up into fifth place past Patrese.
Yes, and Jean-Pierre Jarier with 120 Grand Prix behind him, the Formula One journeyman who has driven for so many championship teams in his long career, is really charging. Watch him now take Patrese.
Yes, a nice straightforward bit of outbraking down the inside line, and good conventional stuff.
And now Jarier is closing up on Michele Alboreto in the Tyrrell, the Italian, as Tambay and Rosberg and Lafitte go through.
Yes, Jarier's progress, Murray, I think Rosberg will be aware of it, and it's going to put him under even more pressure to try and get past Tambay's Ferrari. Here comes Jarier coming through again. Whoops, and a little bit of a tangle there. They've made a mess. I don't know whether anybody, Patrese nipped through in that excitement, but they appear to not have made contact or damaged each other.
Both Jarier and Alboreto keep going. Jarier in fifth, Alboreto in sixth, but up into fourth place goes the turbocharged Brabham BMW of Riccardo Patrese, the fourth of these cars, and that was because Jean-Pierre Jarier drove up alongside Michele Alboreto there to keep the line and forced Alboreto out. Yes,
just a little bit of a mistake. There goes Patrese nipping through, but right now I think Rosberg will be beginning to get a bit impatient. He really does. And there's Alboreto into the pit, so obviously he didn't emerge completely unscathed from that little slide around.
Was in 6th position. He's obviously damaged the tyre or the suspension. But now, lap 23, coming up to 1/3 distance in this 75 lap race. Rosberg is all over Torbay. But Patrick Torbay, of course, with Rosberg behind him and Lafitte behind him, has really just got to keep his racing line and really boot it hard on the straights and make the use of his superior power to keep ahead of the Williams.
Yes, we have news now, but the two Marlboro McLarens of Nicky Lauda and John Watson are coming up from their very lowly grid positions, are going very well in midfield and coming up and catching the leaders.
Indeed they are. From 22nd and 23rd places, John Watson and Nicky Lauda are now up to 7th and 8th respectively, carving their way through the field, and already Torbay, Rosberg and Lafitte are closing up on to lap tail-enders as into the pits comes René Arnoux to get a new set of Goodyear tyres. They qualified extremely well, and Alan Jones is in too, and Jones was in 11th place as René Arnoux is taking. There is Alan Jones trickling down the pits in the arrows, was in 11th position, outblasts René Arnoux, and here are the leaders passing Eliseo Salazar to lap him, the leaders being Patrick Torbay, who is 33 years old, comes from Cannes, has only won one Grand Prix, the German Grand Prix last year, when he really rose to the occasion after Didier Pironi had been injured. And look at Rosberg, he's coming right up alongside, he's going to take Torbay, and off goes Torbay. Round goes.
Oh dear. What a great shame that was. Rosberg was pretty extended then. He came down the inside, he got inside Tombay's Ferrari, but he was obviously on the braking limit and couldn't slow down. And I have to say, and looks as if Rosberg suffered damage as well, because he's pulled off the course there. So that looks as if both of those cars are out. And here we see it again. You see snaking a little bit, his back wheels locking there, and he couldn't have slowed down anymore. Torbay really, I think Torbay will probably feel aggrieved about that, but knowing that Rosberg's climbing all over him, I have to say that that was Tombay's fault, because he could see Rosberg alongside him, and he should have made the room, because by driving into him and shutting the door, he basically forced contact that could have been avoided, and as a result of which he might have been second instead of first, if he in fact would have been if he'd made the room, but as it is, he's nowhere now, and he's taken Rosberg out as well. So really that was a mistake of an experience by Torbay. We see walking back there looking very disgruntled, but I think Rosberg is the man who should be more disgruntled.
Well, Lafitte is now leading for Patrese in the BMW. Nicky Lauda is coming right up through the field, and there is the double world champion, the Austrian world champion in 1975, world champion in 1977, and that's Mauro Baldi's car, the Turbo Alfa Romeo, out of the race, Mauro Baldi. And meantime, here is Riccardo Patrese. There are Watson coming right up with Nicky Lauda. So Watson is really charging.
Yes, the two McLarens are comfortably the fastest cars on the track at the moment. They're knocking down the fastest lap. Every time we see a new fastest lap, it's one or other of the McLaren drivers, and they're just getting past the Tyrrell there. Of course, Alboreto's had a stop, so he's really out of contention. But these McLarens, it's very interesting. They had a lot of trouble qualifying. They were not at all happy with not only their tyres. They didn't feel that they were getting the best there. The Goodyear tyres seemed to be better in qualifying, but they got the cars right. They worked hard on a race setup, and these Michelin race tyres must be working very well indeed, because it's noticeable that the other Michelin runners are doing better in the race relative to the Goodyear runners and relative to their various qualifying performances. So at the moment, Goodyears are producing the one-lap qualifier stuff, and Michelin are producing the race rubber. But these two McLarens are really flying.
Jacques Lafitte in the lead from Riccardo Patrese. We look at the third and fourth men, and John Watson is coming up to take Nicky Lauda. A spurt of smoke from his tyre there, and he's gone through with a beautiful passing manoeuvre, and that seems to show that there's certainly no team orders in the McLaren team. John Watson with 4 Grand Prix wins behind him, and Nicky Lauda with an amazing 19.
We see here now a little puff of smoke in it. There we are. The left front just locked momentarily, but certainly the two McLaren drivers definitely not. There wouldn't be any team orders for that. This is a very important race for John Watson. You have to remember that his job security at McLaren's is not 100%. There's been mutterings about Alan Jones possibly taking over from him McLarens. There we see Lauda's knocked up another fastest lap. They're taking it in turns, Watson and Lauda. But you have to remember that teammates, it's very important. And Watson, a lot of people would rather come third in a Grand Prix with if their teammate's fourth than second with their teammate winning, because there you're in equal cars and everybody knows you've got the same equipment, and so that to a driver's pride is essential. And Watson is now putting a little bit of mastery on Lauda. He's pulling away, and Lauda looks to be not being able to respond very much. Watson definitely marking his superiority, as he did in Brazil, and I would say that his first two drives of this season have probably done a lot to improve his job security.
And there are Raoul Boesel and De Cesaris and Alain Prost in the RE40 who's back in the race. There is Jacques Lafitte. Behind Jacques Lafitte is Watson and Lauda. So the Marlboro McLarens are really gaining. In fact, they're closing the gap all the time now. And what has happened to Riccardo Patrese then, who was in second position? Riccardo Patrese in the Brabham BMW has lost second position. Here are the first three. Lafitte, the Frenchman, leading. In second place, John Watson. In third place, Niki Lauda.
Yes, and Watson's closed right up on the feet, and apart from anything else, Watson, I think now, has possibly, arguably established himself as the best overtaker in the business. And of course, particularly if you're in a car that's difficult to qualify well, and McLaren seems to suffer from that problem, and so does Watson, then of course you need to be able to overtake to fight your way through a field like this, especially with the powerful turbos. And here Watson's beginning to get close enough to have a stab at Jacques Lafitte, and knowing John, he won't hang around, he won't take long to size it up. He'll have a go as soon as possible before Lafitte's settle down to plan his counters.
And it is significant that the much maligned Ford Cosworth engine, which everybody has been, not everybody, a lot of people have been writing off, are now powering the cars which are in first, second and third places, as past Prost to lap him go Lafitte and Watson is now right up with the race leader. He's right in his slipstream. He's got the nose of the Marlboro McLaren tucked underneath the wing of the Williams. Don't forget that the Williams is on Goodyear tyres and the McLaren is on Michelin, and it looks as though, unlike qualifying, the Michelin tyres are the right way for the race. And John Watson now pulling away just a little from Niki Lauda in third position, is making his challenge for race leadership, catching up with and surely soon going to harry Jacques Lafitte even more than he's doing now, maybe to take the lead. Let's watch, he's right in the slipstream. This is where he could do it. Jacques Lafitte moves over, John Watson goes up alongside him, and we have a new leader.
Yes, marvellous piece of overtaking by John Watson, and very brave stuff, because Lafitte, we'll see a replay in a moment, Lafitte moved over on him, pushed him, and here we are. Yes, here's the replay. Now you see Lafitte is moving towards the centre of the road, and Watson stayed behind him, and then just as Lafitte thought that Watson wasn't going to come, he feinted to the right and dived through, and that really was a marvellous piece of overtaking. And certainly...
And look, it's Niki Lauda's gone through now. He's up into second position, so both the Marlboro McLarens have passed Lafitte, and it's a wonderful day for the McLaren team, for Ron Dennis, for John Barnard, for Crichton Brown and all the rest of them, because their two cars are in first and second positions. John Watson, the Ulsterman from Bognor Regis and London, leading. Niki Lauda, who's now a tax exile in Ibiza. In third place, it is Jacques Lafitte, then Riccardo Patrese, then, incredibly, Johnny Cecotto. There is Patrese, and he's ahead of Jacques Lafitte. So, Patrese is now getting the boot well and truly down.
Yes, a fantastic performance by the McLaren team to have qualified 22nd and 23rd, and to now be running 1-2 in the race is a quite unique performance for modern Grand Prix racing. We've never, I mean, basically when you qualify down there, you're expecting to soldier around and pick up a few places.
Meantime, Eddie Cheever's driving superbly. He has got past René Arnoux, he's got past Johnny Cecotto. He is in fifth place in the Renault 30, the turbocharged car. This is the fourth Formula One team that Cheever, who's an American, albeit having lived in Italy most of his life, he's driven in 4 Grand Prix teams in 4 years, and this year it looks as though he has really made it, after Osella and Tyrrell, and now up into the Renault team. And John Watson's leading.
Yes, a word must be said for Johnny Cecotto. He's now just off the leaderboard, running in 7th place, but in only his second Grand Prix, it's a really exceptionally fine effort, and I think that Cecotto is starting to prove that he's going to be even better in cars than he was on those two-wheel frighteners that he was so good at before, because he's really showing terrific beginner's talent.
Alan Jones is in the white car there, the Arrows. He has been lapped by John Watson. Actually, he's doing jolly well. He's in 14th place, albeit 4 laps down, because don't forget he's been into the pits. And it looks from the slow speed that he's driving at as though the ex-world champion from Australia, Alan Jones, up goes his visor, is coming into the pits. Yes, Jones into the pits, probably to come out again soon, but with a damaged leg, a new car, and out of condition, he's driven a superb race.
Yes, absolutely. 3 stone overweight, or whatever he is, but he had no opportunity with a broken leg to go into training. It's very difficult to get the weight off and do any running about when you've got a broken leg. So Jones, but driving in this race obviously will be very good for his condition.
Meantime, look at that. René Arnoux, number 28 in the Ferrari, is right up with Eddie Cheever. Cheever in 5th position, René Arnoux in 6th place.
Yes, well, this will be like red rag to a bull for Arnoux to be potentially being led by one of his the former team, the Renault team with whom he was before, because they didn't leave on very amicable terms, and I should think he'll have some pretty powerful emotional reasons to try and get himself in front of Cheever.
Well, not only that, but they're catching Jacques Lafitte, who is in 4th position, and it looks to me as though maybe Lafitte's tyres are going off, because he is definitely dropping back, and definitely the Renault that you see there on the right, with René Arnoux coming out of Cheever's slipstream to try and take him and to move up a place. He comes right up alongside. Cheever holds it, and René Arnoux has to hold that place behind the American.
Well, here you see a similar situation to the one that put the 2 early leaders out, Rosberg and Tambay, and you see that Cheever didn't carve him up. He could see Arnoux was committed and had his front wheel alongside his back wheel, not as far alongside as Rosberg had been, but he made the space, and there they are, both stood in the race, and believe it or not, Cheever's still the man in front. So that's how it should be done, with good all-round vision, and Lafitte is only just in front of them now.
Yes, look for the white Williams as they go down the fastest part of the course, shoreline drive, and there it is. They're coming up alongside to take Lafitte, but Arnoux takes Cheever, and he takes Lafitte, and Cheever takes Lafitte. So Lafitte in one fell move has gone down 2 places, and Cheever is trying to take Arnoux. Incredible.
Oh, poor old Lafitte, completely overwhelming for him. Suddenly not 1 but 2 cars coming past, and Arnoux, well, that's pretty profitable work to kill 2 birds with 1 stone there, and a very fine piece of opportunist driving.
And Eddie Cheever certainly isn't giving up. Look at him, tucked into the slipstream of René Arnoux as they come out of the corner with the Ferrari leading, and Cheever goes through and retakes that 4th place, or does he? Yes, he does. He cuts across the front of Arnoux, and he's now in 4th position with Arnoux 5th and Jacques Lafitte 6th.
Real ding-dong stuff here. This is absolutely terrific. I mean, this is a pretty tight bit of track. There's not a lot of space for all this charging about, and they're putting on a terrific display, these 2. There we go, the Ferrari having another go, getting the power down nicely. Can he do it? Side by side again. Terrific stuff.
Arnoux 4th, Cheever 5th, Jacques Lafitte 6th. John Watson is leading. Nicky Lauda is 2nd. Riccardo Patrese in the Brabham BMW is still in 2nd position, and there are only 2 turbos in the first 6 places.
Here we are seeing it again. Look at it, getting alongside, holding the inside line. Cheever forced to make room, and for the time being, Arnoux's got just a little tiny bit of daylight.
Well, Arnoux now looks as though he's pulling away. It's his first year for Ferrari. It's very, very important to him that he does well in this superb Italian team which has dominated motor racing history for so long. And René Arnoux then is in 4th position. Right behind him is Eddie Cheever in the RE30 turbocharged Renault V6. The Ferrari is a V6 as well, and it looks to me as though René Arnoux has consolidated that place that he got to 4th position now, with Eddie Cheever down into 5th place, with Jacques Lafitte out of sight at the present moment as Cheever rounds the right-hander, chasing René Arnoux. And yes, Arnoux is definitely pulling away from Eddie Cheever, and no wonder, because Cheever is turning off the course. Cheever has obviously felt something go wrong with the Renault and is equally obviously retiring. What bitter luck for him, because he had to retire in Brazil as well.
Yes, I got no guesses as to what went wrong. May have been transmission, may have been engine, but all the wheels were going round. And well, I don't think he needs to be obviously disappointed with the result, but he's driven a good race, Eddie Cheever. The races I've seen him drive possibly are the best of his career, and great shame to lose him, because they were having a wonderful dice and putting on a terrific spectacle for us. But he has nothing to be disappointed with, other than the fact that his Renault wasn't as tough as he was.
Well, he obviously is very disappointed, and you can understand it. But there is Riccardo Patrese in third position in the Brabham BMW, the turbo car. Nelson Piquet, incidentally, retired from this race a long time ago. The 1981 world champion. He had a most unhappy race in his Brabham BMW. And so there is Patrese, and behind him, it looks to me, from the quick look that I had there, as though it was Michele Alboreto. Yes, it is. It's Michele Alboreto. And what I find significant is that Michele Alboreto in the Tyrrell Ford Cosworth is gaining hand over fist on Patrese, so that either means that the Italian in the Brabham BMW Turbo is in trouble, or he is driving a fairly gentle race, and there's no reason why he should be doing that, because he must be trying for second at least.
Yes, but of course you have to remember that Alboreto's been in the pits, and he's probably on fresh tyres, which there he is. He's actually unlapping himself there, because he'd lost a lap or so in the pits, and if he's on fresh tyres, that would possibly account for the speed. And Patrese, his tyres will be getting pretty tired by now, so that we get in the later stages of the race, and I'm quite sure he's going as hard as possible, but
well, lap 70 in this 75 lap race, and John Watson now just has to keep it going to win from Niki Lauda. Patrese in third position, René Arnoux in fourth place now, Jacques Lafitte in fifth position, and incredibly a superb drive. Mark Surer in the Arrows is in sixth position. There is Niki Lauda, the grizzled campaigner who's been in motor racing for so long, but not, funnily enough, as long as his teammate John Watson, who has driven in about 10 Grand Prix more than Lauda. Niki Lauda in second position then. So it looks as though the McLaren team are going to do that fabulous double of first and second in this Long Beach Grand Prix and pile up the World Championship points.
yes, marvellous drive by John Watson. He's really raced very, very well. In Brazil particularly, when he again started from a very low, there's Niki Lauda, who's done just about everything, but he's failed in one most important task. As I said, it's a very much a matter of professional pride amongst racing drivers to beat one's own teammate, and I'm sure Lauda will be disappointed, and much more disappointed about that than any pleasure he gets from coming second. Watson, on the other hand, will be absolutely elated, and quite rightly so. There have been question marks over his career, and I think he's been stimulated by that into replying in the most positive possible way, because in Brazil he was quite brilliant for the first half of the race, and it was a great shame that we lost him, because he would have been, after Piquet's pit stop, fighting level him.
There's Patrese, James, Riccardo Patrese, who was in third position, and I thought he was in trouble from the slow speed that he went round the hairpin, and it looks as though he is, because he's touring in, and that means to say, I suspect that René Arnoux, as we look at the race leader John Watson in his 139th Grand Prix, would you believe, it looks as though René Arnoux will move up to third position, and there is Patrese definitely touring home. So that means René Arnoux in the Ferrari goes up to third, Lafitte to fourth, Surer to fifth, and incredible Johnny Cecotto, the Venezuelan in the Theodore, in only his second Grand Prix, is currently in the points in sixth place.
You can see Watson's enjoying himself, giving the car a little twitch then, and get the backsliding a bit. He's obviously eased up from the 10/10 stuff now, because he's only got to stand up to win, and he's experienced enough to make sure he does stay standing up and keep his car standing up if at all possible. But I can't help noticing in the way he's just throwing it about a little bit that there's a bit of sort of elation in his style. Terrific to see.
John Watson on his way to and almost home for his fifth Grand Prix win, and if he finishes first and Niki Lauda finishes second, it means to say that Lauda will go into the lead in the World Championship, with John Watson and Piquet tying with 9 points in second place. But there is Watson pacing himself home, making sure he doesn't hit the walls, making sure he doesn't over-rev the engine, making sure he doesn't over-stress the tyres, making sure that he remains perfectly okay, because the closing laps of any race are a worry when you're in John Watson's position. And now he is almost home. This Ulsterman on his way to his 5th Grand Prix win, and a superb one, which is a mirror image. He's into his last lap now, and John Watson's drive is a mirror image of the one that he had at Detroit last year, when he charged through the field, including taking his teammate Niki Lauda to win superbly. And it gives the lie to anybody that says that John Watson does not match Niki Lauda in talent.
No, it's marvellous to see, and let's hope we have a clean set of results this time, unlike the mess in Brazil, with disqualifications marring a good day's racing and a great drive. I'm just hoping that Grand Prix racing learns a system of justice whereby you don't provide capital punishment, i.e. maximum sentence, for any offence. I think disqualification should be reserved for matters that are either cheating or inadvertently gaining advantage with something going wrong with the car that obviously you have to disqualify for. Other things I think should be fined, and we're really making a mockery of it when we chuck people like Rosberg out after driving so brilliantly last time and entertaining us for whatever spurious technical reasons.
Here, and let us hope that Rosberg gets those points back. Meantime, John Watson has almost got 9 in the bag for a win here at Long Beach, because he is virtually within sight of the checkered flag, and you can hear the cheers and the whistles in the background. And there he comes into the last straight. John Watson has won the Long Beach Grand Prix of 1983, a superb 5th win, with Niki Lauda 2nd in the 2nd McLaren, René Arnoux 3rd in the Ferrari, Jacques Lafitte 4th in the Williams, Marc Surer 5th, and Johnny Cecotto a magnificent 6th position to get the last championship point. And that means to say that Lauda leads the World Championship, Piquet and Watson tie in 2nd position, 4th place Keke Rosberg subject to that appeal, with Lafitte and then René Arnoux in 6th position. So John Watson, who is going to be driving in the Race of Champions at Brands Hatch on April the 10th, and that'll be something to see, wins the Long Beach Grand Prix. And now the scene goes back to Europe, to France, to Paul Ricard in 2 weeks' time on April the 17th.